system is aging, and it's experiencing a lot more heavy truck traffic than it was designed for, which accelerates deterioration. So that's the real problem.
We live in one of, if not the fastest growing metropolitan regions in the country, and our transportation system simply has not kept up. We don't have the capacity to serve the number of citizens we have, and we certainly don't have the capacity to serve the number of citizens we're going to have in the next 5, 10, and 20 years.
Tarrant County is one of the fastest growing counties really in the United States, and certainly in Texas. And we grew over 400,000 people during the last census. That's going to do nothing but continue. In the last 40 years, the number of cars on the road have tripled. The number of miles driven in Tarrant County have tripled. And our capacity, new capacity, has only increased less than 20%.
It's congested. Our roads are deteriorating. We've got so much traffic. We're not expanding and keeping up with the traffic that we're producing.
If we don't catch up with the congestion and relieve the congestion with new infrastructure, what we're going to face is a point where the gridlock just cripples us.
We don't want to waste time driving or even riding the train or riding the bus, whatever vehicle we use to get to our destination. All of that time affects our quality of life. But especially affects that family time. When you spend an hour and a half or 2 hours in the vehicle every morning and every afternoon, then you're missing that time. And if we lose our quality of life, then we lose one of the biggest assets that we have in Texas.
Our transportation system is underfunded. The funding models that are attached to traditional transportation funding don't keep up with growth.
The existing revenue sources that traditionally funded transportation are the gasoline tax and the vehicle registration fee, and those are fairly static sources.
Fortunately, cars are much more efficient than they used to be, which means that your gas tax has declining effectiveness over time.
We can't continue to just borrow and leave our children, future generations, with this kind of debt.
What we've been able to do is stay focused on some of those major projects that we needed in Tarrant County to keep our roads moving, keep our people moving along those roads.
I think in the last 10 years we've seen some significant successes with TRTC. I think that's been the organization that's galvanized Tarrant County. It's given us a much, much bigger voice.
We have created a whole group of advocates for transportation for the western half of the Metroplex. There's this very aggressive, consistent effort over a long period of time that simply did not exist before the TRTC was here, and frankly, we were behind other regions who did have strong advocates.
One of the things that I urge everyone to do is to get involved. You know, you can sit on the sidelines and sit in the parking lots and complain, but you've got to have your voice heard. You need to get in touch with your elected officials, whether it's local, state, or federal officials. You've got to get involved and tell them that transportation is a priority and should be a priority. We've got to increase our investment in transportation in Tarrant County. It's so important. It's important to everyone, from the children going to school, to the people going to the work, to the people trying to get home. We have got to step up and address this problem.
I think the voters need to approve the constitutional amendment in November 2014. I think that's very important. But it goes beyond that. That's a drop in the bucket.
This won't fix all of our problems, but this is a great start toward making sure that we can continue to move folks around in not only Tarrant County, but really throughout the Metroplex.
I just honestly believe that the citizens of Texas, first of all, need to stand up and say, we want a solution. It's time to stop shifting blame. We can't continue to shift it from Austin down to the local level all the time. We're partners, we're glad to be partners, and we've accomplished a lot. I mean, this region is a shining example of that. But it's time that Austin partner with us and figure out a way to solve the problem. And they know how much money they have, and either they're going to reduce other areas and put it in transportation, or they're going to create a legitimate funding source for transportation.
We need every person that has to commute to work 20 or 30 miles and is losing time with their family, we need them to recognize that it's a problem that doesn't have to exist. We need them to recognize that the commute that they're suffering through is affecting their quality of life and is taking time away from their families. And so we need them to get engaged in the problem. We need them to interact with groups like the TRTC, and we need them to demand results of their elected officials, their statewide elected officials. We need everyday citizens to let their state legislators and to let the governor and the lieutenant governor know that transportation is among their top priorities.
By solving this problem now, our transportation system will become more reliable, our travel time will become more predictable, and our roads will be safer. Texans must step up and talk to their legislators and tell them how important transportation is, not only to Tarrant County, but to the state of Texas.